All right, we are here with Raseel Khwais of Students for Justice in Palestine at ISU. We're right outside the Office of Finance and Planning in Hovey Hall. Um, Students for Justice in Palestine are currently occupying this area. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing today.
Today we're doing another sit-in with plans to leave as soon as they ask us to, no risk of arrest. And we're planning to come here as many times as we need to until everybody's gone. This is something that we're going to do daily from now on, as well as some people remaining at the encampment to talk to folks who are coming nearby.
Okay, and the encampment got taken down today, right?
Yes, only for night time.
Yeah.
We're still going to be in full operation like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're
Yeah.
still going to be there every single day. Just for nighttime because the storms are rolling through and there have been
Yeah.
tornado warnings and stuff. It's a safety risk just because we can't have tents. I know the last time it rained on us while we're sleeping out there, I almost got hypothermia. I don't know about everybody else, but I heard some miserable stories. So
Yeah. So you guys think if you were allowed to have tents out there, you would have kept the encampment going?
it would have absolutely made a difference.
Yeah. Why are you specifically outside this office today?
Because this is where the financial decisions are made. What we want to do, I think the problem is with why ISU has not been responding to us is because they underestimate us and think we don't know what we're talking about. They tried to call our bluff in a couple other instances that I can't speak on right now, and they failed miserably. I think they're starting to realize that no matter what pretty words they use, we actually know what's going on.
And so, have you gotten any information back on ISU's investments and like what they're involved in? How has the university responded?
The issue of investments is a little more complicated because it deals with a separate entity called the ISU Foundation. Will we focus on that eventually? Yes, we plan to starting next year, starting fall semester. As soon as we're able to, if we can start this summer, we plan to as well. Right now, our focus is on what President Tarhouli, correct me if I'm wrong with the pronunciation, he does control some of those finances. He says he doesn't, but he uses his wording very specifically. He says he cannot control the investments. Correct, he cannot. Can he control hundreds of thousands of dollars that we have proof of through FOIA requests, through receipts, that requests maintenance in the last fiscal year, that requests computers in the last fiscal year, that requests several other things in the last fiscal year, as well as our current and ongoing relationship with Caterpillar in regards to internships? All of that is under Tarhouli's control. I think it is extremely unethical the way he denies and tells the media there are no direct investments. It is misleading because there might not be investments per se. We're certainly investing our money by paying for services that we still use today, that, to my understanding, seem to be potentially renewable contracts that are asking for services per fiscal year.
And how are these services and products that they're buying, besides the relationship with Caterpillar, connected to Apartheid Israel?
So all of the companies that we asked for disclosure from through our FOIA requests were countries that are corporations that were within the boycott of countries that we know, corporations that we know have involvement with Israel. So all of it is confirmed. All of it is through the official BDS announcement of these corporations are the ones we ask divestment from because they are heavily involved in Israel. They all make the list. I know, to consider what those corporations have to do to make the list, consider that Starbucks is not on that list, despite all the boycotts that have been happening nationwide. Starbucks technically does not meet the standard. So there is a standard threshold that is met, that needs to be met, for those companies to be included on that list, and all the companies that we asked for meet that standard.
And of the services and products that you see that the university is buying, which companies are they?
HP, we know, is a big one. I believe it's like Siamese or something to that verbiage. I forget the exact names because a lot of them are not technically well-known corporations. They fall under different umbrellas, or they are the umbrella that other more well-known entities fall under. But there are companies that have to do with computer manufacturing, with maintenance and with software repairs mostly, are the ones that we saw in the receipts.
Okay, and they're on like the BDS
Yes.
list of companies that are heavily also invested in Apartheid
Everything
Israel.
we asked for in the FOIA request and everything we received in regards to what the president has direct involvement in, all the requests are for those companies that are listed in the BDS list.
Okay, so the FOIA was like, do you buy from this company? Do you buy from this
From a
company?
list of specific
Okay.
companies.
Do you have anything else that you want to say?
Just that administration needs to wise up and realize we are not stupid. They already tried to call our bluff on legal counsel and they were proven wrong, and we intend to continue to prove them wrong in every iteration that they assume they know better than us, that they assume we're going to go away, that they assume we don't have an understanding of the papers, because we do, and we are continuing to develop understanding of the papers.
And one of the simplest demands that SJP made was simply the university calling for a permanent ceasefire. And have you heard it? Have they said anything about doing that? Or that would probably be like the easiest thing that they could do, right?
Not a single word. They've been avoiding us like the plague. My assumption is because we've caught them in so many lies, with so many. We just caught them running around themselves in circles. And my assumption is they've been asked not to talk to us because they don't, like, whoever's in charge of Tarhuli even has probably asked them to cease contact with us. In regards to, I know there was a statement made to the press that they had a meeting with us. The president had a meeting with us. That meeting was an interaction between the protesters and the president in the hallway for 20 minutes, where he gave us no answers and no SJP executive officers were present. No
Okay.
leadership was present.
So it was just the random protesters that were the 6 or 7 protesters that were there
ISU
earlier that day. Yeah. And if the university were to call for a ceasefire, who would that come through? Would that have to just be the president? Would it be like the board of trustees? Would it be like the student government?
It depends.
What would meet that demand for you if they did decide to do that?
It depends on what level we're regarding it. What we're asking for now is at the presidential level. What we will continue to ask for is at the board of trustees level. So we will continue pushing forward until anything associated with ISU does not touch support for Israel. This is a moral issue and not a complicated one. There are almost 40,000 people dead, probably more, because of the underestimations. There are thousands of people considered missing. We know that those people are probably buried under rubble. It is no longer an issue of self-defense. It has never been an issue of self-defense. Before October 7th, it was an apartheid state that severely oppressed the Palestinian population. This has never been an issue of self-defense. We want to make it clear that Zionism is not the same as Judaism. Zionists are not the same as the Jewish people. There are plenty of Jewish folks in support of us. And it is in bad faith and in support of white supremacy and anti-Semitism to equate the bad actions of the Israeli state to the Jewish population, and that is what Zionists are trying to do. And that is the true anti-Semitism at the end of it. We are in support of Jewish populations. We do not want the mass exodus of Jews from Palestine. We want them to be integrated, but that is a long process that we cannot begin to discuss before a ceasefire is held.
And so some of the latest news is that there was a tentative agreement about kind of a permanent ceasefire and a release of a lot of hostages. Hamas allegedly did apparently agree to this. This was partially brokered with the U.S. government because some of the Israeli hostages do have dual U.S. citizenship, but it seems like Israel is not willing to take this deal that would actually release all of the hostages that they claim they want back so bad. Is that your understanding?
And then they choose to continue to bomb where the hostages might be held. So tell me again, it's about the hostages.
Yeah, so in Rafah.
In Rafah.
Yeah. Okay.
In terms of that, they claimed against self-defense. Tell me how bombing an innocent civilian population with, all right, they say targeted strikes, but they assume every Palestinian is Hamas. So then what are you targeting? The people? I'm tired of having the conversation that and the conversation that keeps coming up, that Israel is somehow defending itself. 40,000 people are dead to Israel's some 1,500, to Palestine's even more than 40,000 over the course of 75 years, to 750,000 people expelled from their homes in the Nakba. I am sick and tired of having this conversation that Israel is somehow defending itself. It is not. It is an apartheid regime, and I'm just. It's a bad faith argument. It's a bad faith discussion, and I refuse to have it anymore. I am angry, and it is all right to be angry. It is righteous to be angry. It is important to be angry, if anything.
Okay. And do you know when graduation is? Commencement is?
Personally, I do not.
Okay. So do you know if there's any plans, or do you got?
As far as I know, commencement is going as planned.
Okay.
If there are individual students in protest during commencement, that is not something we have planned. Just because there are a lot of the folks in the movement right now that are currently protesting are not graduating students. Some of the graduating students that were going to be protesters were some of the ones arrested, so they cannot walk during graduation.
And I believe it was the ISU spokesperson, Copland, who released a statement saying, basically threatening students at graduation for even, wearing things in support of Palestine beyond like a very, I don't know what, the cap maybe, but if they do anything else, that could be seen as disruptive, or they could be threatened, or something like that. Is that correct?
I'm unsure about that personally. I've been too busy to hear about that. If so, that is highly condemnable. And I would like ISU to know that we are taking note of every single mess up that they have made so far, which are, this is a hefty list, both legal mess ups and just normal, are you not moral human beings type of mess ups.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
I don't even play.
Hold on. Okay. That's all I have.